Matt Rosendale, he's not even a Montanan. They call him Maryland Matt. Who are they? Uh, I haven't heard anybody call him that. He doesn't own a cow, therefore he's not a rancher. Watch my Stupid Atheist Tricks, No True Scotsman Bluff video. We have a very, very strange set of ads as always. But John Tester got elected over Conrad Burns, 2008 or whatever. He said he's for a tax on your pickup trucks and guns, and he actually got elected. I mean, hopefully Montana has developed some firing neurons since then. That should set off all kinds of red lights, and person should understand they're being deceived when they hear that kind of stupid thing. Obviously, the guy wasn't even for it. He was considering a flat tax, and so yeah, John Tester's a liar, and comedically, I'm actually putting up a guy right now, letting him stay here, and he's working for the John Tester campaign, because I know if John Tester wins, Montana has no right to exist, and I don't really care. I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to get defeated this time. And so I'm just happily letting this guy take money from his campaign, and he's a conservative. And we're just mocking the whole thing, I mean, we're just airing out money that would be going otherwise to liberals if this guy didn't take it. And so put that in your stogie and smoke it. Anyway, yeah, the upcoming information. Well, first, this is why Google sucks right here. I'm going to, cut it right here. Okay, you see in that little screenshot, Cat's Rule. Cat's Rules is telling me, basically, I have to get a legal order to get any protection. So why did I even go to the forum? They have every ability to find out who is trying to hack my email, but they won't do it. It's just like the U-Haul video I put up. Sue us. We burned your car down. Sue us. That's what the world's about now, and if you're hoping to find any help from mankind, you're confused and you need a relationship with God. And I'm sorry if you want me to do synth videos. If you happen to be watching this, I hope to do more, but my alpha priority is serving God and helping people to understand their life is meaningless until they come to Him. And maybe if you loved God and you love synths, you'd actually use them for something that glorifies Him and is worth listening to, because a lot of it's just meaningless rambling, and it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't lead anybody on a journey to anywhere. And what's your legacy going to be in life? Are you going to be known for anything except just doing a bunch of meaningless stuff that dithered into the mire and is never seen again? Do you think your songs are going to be seen amidst the sea of just incredible volume of songs now that everybody's got a studio? It's not about it's about who you know primarily. And you're not going to probably be that person, but we all have a dream. Anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to prioritize things like tearing down the Democrat Party, which reminds me of racism, reminds me of the KKK, reminds me of, if people can tear down Robert E. Lee statues, who was probably the least racist guy in the Civil War, if you really look at the details. I mean, of the main players. Then certainly I can tear down the Democrat Party and see it fall on the ground and crash to pieces. And they started the KKK. They were pro-slavery. They portrayed blacks as subhuman. LBJ said, I'll have those ends voting for Democrat next 200 years. The whole thing was a scheme to undercut the success of certain black people who were starting to overcome and build communities and have respectable lives amidst people who were some still racist, but some anyway, if you aren't racist, you should be all over Google's case for supporting this agenda. They have been divisive in trying to support an agenda that is run by white supremacist families. These mega-rich families are at the back of this whole thing, Rothschild and so on. And if you understand that by your research, like I do, then you should be against what Google is doing, and we should be coming against them is to try to reason with them, and if they won't reason, we should go find another, like Brighton is another viable platform, and we should be using that probably, you know. Anyway, here's the bit about the oh, I was going to say, they have made me world famous. Everywhere I go, people know me from the videos, even though I'm only getting 15 views and stuff on a lot of videos. They're obviously running an algorithm to cheat it and make it look like it's not getting views. And I've seen my views actually go down on some videos in the beginning when they started doing that. And they screwed up and made it go from 260 to 232 on the sledding safety czar video, if you haven't seen that one. Yeah, it's gone gradually back up. Oh, and that's been over years and years and years. So it's just unbelievable for a comedy video like that to not get more views. But anyway, yeah, the info to come is relevant to the upcoming election and to just generally viewing politicians who say healthcare is a right or, yeah, pre-existing condition. I went to the Trump rally today, or I stood in the line, I should say, of the Trump rally today. I didn't actually get inside. I last night, a lady I'm trying to help, I think her car alarm went off and blew me out of my sleep at 4:30 in the morning, and I just felt sinusy this morning, and I was like, oh, I can't get up, I've got to rest some more. So I rested until 9 something when somebody started slapping shoes together repeatedly for like 10 minutes or something. It was just ridiculous. I thought they were pounding ground at the BMX track. Anyway, so I didn't have a great night of sleep last night, and I finally got up and got ready and got down there at 10 something, and it was too late. We had a long line. I waited in for quite a while there, an hour or so. And then people started coming out saying the fire marshal said there's too many people.
No, yeah, they won't.
No more people.
No more people.
It's one big train. Turn around. Bobbing. It's time to leave. There's nobody else getting in. Folks, it's done. It's over. It's time to leave. Well, there was that many people. And what's more fun than a Trump rally? Watching the Wallace kids bounce around on a trampoline. Yeah. Oh, careful. Oh, you goofy dog. Who's goofy dog? Dusty the dog.
People coming in cars still, so I estimate there were probably 3,000 to 4,000 people that got turned away. And yeah, Bozeman, Belgrade, Montana, here 8 miles from Bozeman, 6 miles, whatever, to the airport. And frog in my throat still. But the thing I want to discuss, the media, I just love how they framed the protesters and showed them, with the edge of their shoulder as the edge of the thing. They didn't show anything wider to show there simply weren't any more than 15 protesters out there. It was very few people. My friend Charlie had a great idea. I should hold up a sign out there with them and put something on one side that makes it look like I'm one of them, and then flip it over and it says, "Make America lame again." I think that would have been great. make America lame again, as though that's what the protesters are trying to do, which it functionally is what they're trying to do in many cases, unbeknownst to them, perhaps. But yeah, they've been set up, like I say, I believe in this whole thing minimally. If Trump is an operative of the New World Order crowd, then he's been put there to create division, and these people are falling right into the trap, and they're being divisive about irrational things, and trying to say a judge has to prove his innocence of things that now have come forth with, they were complete fabrications, of course, the things these people were bringing up about the gang rape things and whatever. It's just utterly stupid. The whole thing, the stories are completely implausible, and thinking people would know that. But I've seen a lot of failures in that area. I can tell some stories about, like, for instance, the police who worked on the complaint I gave against this woman who drew a 12-inch knife, twisty knife, designed to murder people years ago on me after stalking me, after going road rage, because I piss people off sometimes when I drive too aggressively. I do things logically and expect people are going to, when I'm ahead of them, I'm going to signal and get over, and they're going to create space. If they think there's not enough, I pull over with enough space, and the lady speeds up and tries to ram me, and I'm like, okay, lady, go for it, and I'll get a new car, because I've got a junky old Cavalier at the time, and she blows around everybody on the left side in the turn lane illegally. I'm like, oh, she's on drugs or something. The police asked, why do you think she's on drugs? I'm like, oh, come on, people, think with me, because people normally don't act that insane without drugs, but whatever, that was my personal opinion. Why even discuss it? I mean, it's immaterial. It's my opinion. Am I not allowed to have an opinion? I expressed it as an opinion. Think, people. Think. Oh, so hard to see people like that. They get on a pride trip. They were all ticked off because I criticized them for taking till Friday to get the knife. And from Sunday to Friday, it took them to get this knife that this lady was threatening people with. And they had the actual knife there that fit my description of 12 inches long exactly. And I'm like, she claims she never took it out of the car. I'm like, how did I describe it so eloquently? If she sat in the car, would she like, in the car, She actually ran at me and butted me with her shoulder, and she was cuffing the knife down here, and I couldn't see it. And I was just watching closely the situation, and I just bounced her off my chest, and she flew back about 4 or 5 feet, and she stood there shocked, thinking, what did I just hit? And then she, as I said, lady, I got to turn you in for driving on the wrong side of the road. She pulls this knife up, and I'm like, you're going to threaten me with a knife now? And I loudly said, lady, I love you, but I'm still going to have to turn you in for driving on the wrong side of the road. And I was trying to attract attention, being a little loud, so, we could document what was happening there. And I was given a disorderly conduct charge by the Bozeman police. I'm not kidding. They charged me $180 for turning this in. I ran right over to the neighbor and called it in, and took them till Friday to get the knife. And they were just completely disorderly in their conduct, and nobody criticized them for it. It's just they were all good old boys doing it. The county mountie there, Officer Tiller, Dan Tiller, what a nutcase. He comes over and gives me a ticket. It's such a disgrace. I can't even believe stuff like this happens, but it does. And I can, kind of, just because humanity is overtly sinful, and the heart is wicked and deceitful above all things. Who can know it? These things are biblically sound. It is what humanity does. But it just makes no sense. It's like they're cutting their own throat. They're making people. So if a police was out here getting brutally beaten, would I go help him? I can't afford to. They'll wind up making up some charge against me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, officer. Have a good day. Isn't that sad? Anyway, so on with the topic of today. The topic of today being the pre-existing condition. I'm going to lay out a logical framework here without further ado. Now, there are two situations. You've got a system where you are forcing people to participate in healthcare, and a system where you are letting people opt in or out of insurance at their own liking, which has been the historical case largely until Obamacare, which tried to force everybody, I didn't participate, but tried to force everyone to participate in this scheme, and were fining people who couldn't afford insurance, as though, like I said in a post here a minute ago, let's have another chorus of "There's a special place in hell." I mean, how can you get any more heinous than to charge somebody who already can't afford health insurance a fine and still not give them health insurance? So, humanity is ready for the baking. I'm telling you, it's people to tolerate that stuff in mass just shows you how wicked people are. And we've got a president who, lied to people about everything on it to get it in. Nancy Pelosi said we got to pass this bill to see what's in it, and basically telling everybody to defy their constituents and just go against what they were paid and put in office by their constituents to do, which is read any legislation and make sure it is viable before they pass it. We got to pass this to see what's in it. Okay, anyway, yeah. Enough of that, but I'll listen to my Obamacare song on SoundCloud if you get a chance. Yeah, kind of funny, a Michael Jackson parody. But so we've got the situation here where you can either have a mandated health system, or like we used to have, and in the case where it's mandated, there can be two extremes there. Mandated where people are forced to pay out of pocket for coverage according to their own condition. As in, if you have a pre-existing condition, you're going to pay a lot. And at the extreme end, where the insurance company is actually recouping its costs from you, i.e. non-socialized medicine, where it's not spreading the joy of your condition to everyone else. Now, in some cases, we would all want to probably chip in as a society to help a person who had some genetic condition or something. Do we all want to chip in on people who decide to do irresponsible things like sleep around, do extreme sports, take drugs, drink a lot of booze, whatever, get into fights in a gang or whatever they do? Eat poorly, largely. Most health problems are as a result of bad nutrition, not having the right vitamins, minerals, and or taking pharmaceutical drugs, which kill 110,000 people a year, and obviously maim countless others in various ways, give them other conditions. Now, if we give people just a open check here where they can do all this stuff willy-nilly, and other people have to pay for it in the socialized model, obviously they're going to be less motivated to change, and so you're going to have more health problems in that scenario. You are promoting more health problems in a way psychologically, and people need a sink or swim scenario to grow as human beings, and we need to be personally responsible and realize, hey, if I take too many drugs, I'm gonna maybe wind up in really bad shape and a vegetable for the rest of my life or whatever. And do I want to go that direction, or do I want to stop taking the damn drugs? Okay, so it encourages many people to change and reform their life when they see the direction they're going. They don't want a bad life, they want a good life. Nobody hates their own life. But people get deceived at times, and they think things are maybe better for them that aren't. And they have to learn through that process. And how do you learn if somebody's always holding a safety net for you? So the socialized system has that downfall, and it's just flat out immoral. It doesn't reward people who don't do those things. People that don't sleep around, the people that don't take drugs and so on do not get any reward. They in fact have to pay for the people that do those things. They have to pay for the inordinately expensive things that are incurred by people that do those things and try to fix their boo-boos as they do those things. And so, yeah, it's an immoral system. It is a very immoral system. People shouldn't have to pay for the sins of others, right? And so, in the other extreme, you have people that simply are going to be unable to pay. They cannot. So if people are being forced into it, you're going to bankrupt and beyond some people in that way of doing it. If they have to pay for their heart transplant because they did things to destroy their heart, eating wrong foods or whatever, they are going to wind up with very, very expensive fees from the insurance company, because it has to both make a profit and pay for the bills, and they'll want to recoup that fairly quickly, because your odds of living very long after a heart transplant, not so good. And so the company has to take all that risk into account. They're going to have to charge you $100 and some thousand the first year, probably. Okay. So I don't know what the rates are on those now, but I'm thinking something in that area. I'm no expert on that, but I know it's a lot. And I know most people aren't going to be able to pay it. Okay. So pre-existing conditions in that particular scenario, not so good. Forcing people with pre-existing conditions to have insurance when they have to pay that for it, not so good. Now, they're loving it when other people have to pay for their pre-existing condition in the other model, in the socialist model, where everybody's cost is shared to one another. But again, you have all those downsides in that one, and it winds up with a lot of other problems. The doctors wind up getting paid based on what? Merit? No, it's all hidden within this corrupt system, and you wind up with quacks working on you a lot of the time, and a lot more people die. Well, there's a lot more malpractice. We already lose 300 and some thousand a year from properly taken meds and malpractice. So you can see that going up to 500,000 documented and more, easily. And so it's not a very nice outcome on that one. And the problem is, staying solvent, they have to charge everybody a lot. And if we give premium health care, cradle to grave, under this system, it's going to be a pretty high cost for everybody. And it's going to pretty much bankrupt the culture. I figure, if you tried to do that utopian thing, it would seriously be just what the globalists want, to bankrupt the culture. And there will not be enough to cover it. $8 trillion a year, maybe, or in that realm, with a couple million per person. Figure it out over their lifetime. So do the math on that. It's pretty simple. Now, in the other instance where you are not forcing, like Trump's gotten rid of the mandate now, supposedly, and people are not forced into paying it. So pre-existing conditions in this scenario, it's just ludicrous. John Tester says he's, fully supporting forcing insurance companies to give people with pre-existing conditions insurance. Well, what does that mean, John? Be specific. Because if it's in the socialist system, we've discussed those options, and they're not real great. If it's in the non-mandatory socialist model, where costs are shared with one another, and you just accept somebody with a pre-existing condition like they're anybody else under the insurance, it's not mandatory. And I got news for you. Nobody is going to pay the rate until they have a condition. Pretty simple, right? Unless they're insane and they just don't know what they're doing, or it's a tax on the mentally handicapped, basically, at that point, because nobody else is going to pay for insurance until they have a condition, and then they're going to go down and get the reasonably priced insurance. Now the problem is, there's not going to be any solvency in it, because they're going to have to eventually raise those rates astronomically high for everybody who comes in with the pre-existing condition. because otherwise they will not be able to pay the hospital bill, because everybody's going to drop the insurance as soon as they don't need it and quit paying. It's pretty simple, right? You're not even talking about anything sane with that. And in the model where you're charging people based on their condition or non-condition, a person who doesn't have any issues currently gets a fairly low rate, and a person who has a pre-existing condition gets a very high rate. Obviously, the people with a pre-existing condition don't want to pay the profit of the company and their hospital bill over the next few years, which is what's going to happen in a lot of extreme cases. So those people, you may say that they're entitled to it, but they aren't going to want it if they're sane. They're going to want to just work out a deal with the hospital and pay the deal on payments or whatever so that they don't die. And they don't want to pay the insurance industry's overhead also. So it's just stupid talk. It's just really dumb. The whole pre-existing condition thing, I don't get it. So discuss. Let's discuss it and work through some maybe I'm missing something here, but it just all looks really ridiculous to even be discussing that. All right, have a good day.